I'm sure. Man, I got some crap up here. Metro, Maestro, Montego. Now then. Marina, Allegro. Woo! Hello, welcome back to SkyRocket Automotive. I hope you had a nice Christmas. I have been off work for 4 days. I am almost literally climbing the walls. I'm full of beans. I can't sit still at the best of times. So I've come in. I can't get anything done on any of this lot because I can't get parts right now. Everybody's shut for Christmas. Clearly they can sit still. I do have a load of old gaskets knocking about. I think there should be enough in there to put Albert's engine back together. We may need to make one gasket. The engine's got to come back apart anyway. That gives me time to order the gasket set I said I was going to order 2 months ago. The good news is we seem to have dispensed with some of the less patient among us, so now we can take this project at our pace. Thank you for sticking around. Here's to 2026. So, you may recall, last video, we were doing some engine bits. Can you remember? Did we have some trouble with the Dizzy? Uh-oh.
Oh, what's the matter with you? You've got a face like a smack.
Exactly what I was trying to avoid. That's really irritated me. Yeah, we did. So we've got a new Dizzy cap. We're gonna have to strip the Dizzy down. We gotta fix the bolts that broke off. That's gonna be good. That's gonna be great fun. Brilliant. We're just gonna show the valve cover a little bit of love. I'm thinking, send it down the road. Hope it didn't just break that. It's gonna take a lot longer than today to get that thing running, but we're gonna try. Join us. I'm out of practice. What do I do now? Oh, intro music. Time for Daryl Rill. Hello, you little shit. How are you? I hope you're feeling cooperative. I really do hope you're feeling cooperative. Time now for removals of bolts. Let's get our shank. We want to go just inside of it. If we're able to save the factory threads, happy days, but I'm not holding out a lot of hope. These are going to be as hard as it gets, aren't they? Way up. Hey! Let's not do that again. Now, some say you should centre punch these. Could do. Yep, could do. Okay, we're through. That was comparatively painless. So I'm going to really regret saying that in a hot minute. Lots of feed pressure. Just like that. Distributor cap. Do you know, I know that was going way too well. Dizzy cap's gone. Dizzy cap's gone. Not really sure what to do now. Yep, there's tracks. That is such a me thing to do, it's almost ridiculous. Okay. Thought I got it out of the box. Which is good, because I also haven't confirmed if this is the right Dizzy cap. Drum roll, please. Ooh. He looks correct. Yep. Happy days. Came with new bolts. Kind of wish I knew that, to be honest. These bolts don't look like they're the best quality in the world. I am farting to stink. We just convert this to studs and nuts. Now, why am I saying that? Because it don't make no never mind if the stud welds itself in. If we've got thread sticking up there and a small enough nut that it will clear the dizzy cap, interchangeable. Your boy happens to have a load of screws pilfered from sadly departed Heerberg carburetors. I reckon with some persuasion that'll go through there. We've got loads of meat, butchers. My plan. We take these fellas, we cut new threads in. We're going to run the bolts in back to front because we want a nice amount of clamping force just on the off chance. And then we can run nuts down these and reattach our dizzy cap. All right, so the reason that I'm going for studs and not bolts is I'm not doing this again, frankly. Yeah, I really can't be asked to be dealing with this a second time. This has been such a thunderous pain in the arse. Now, what's the method to that particular bit of madness, Kyle? Well, the nut is going to be much easier to get lubricant on it and what have you if we need to in future, versus a shitty old bolt. Man, you just cannot get the staff as far as tap and die sets nowadays. I need to get a vintage one. I'm going looking at a car boot sale for an old Sykes or something. I want an old Sykes pickup and tap and die set because this stuff just doesn't happen with them. What? Could you not, please? That'd be great. Where's my proper one? Let's try that with a quarter way decent one. Take your time when you're tapping threads. In and out. It's like the Okie Kokie. This alloy is really soft. If the fancy takes you, you can use a dollop of grease. I'm good. I prefer to let the tool cut its way through without any interference, personally. YMMV. Oh, that is butternut squash. Wind the tap all the way in. Now obviously, if this was a structural member, we'd be being extremely careful about this. It's a distributor body. Yeah, I mean that's as pretty as that needs be. Let's test it with the bolt. If you can run the bolt all the way down by hand, you've done a good job of tapping the thread. It's a little on the loosey-goosey side. That's fine. We'll thread locker it. Happy days. Do you know what is better than? Not being able to run our dizzy cap. I'm gonna come through the back side of this. Lettuce, Brian, stop it. Should be able to sneak a screwdriver up through there. Yep. Very good. Not that we really need to, as you've been able to see from the... I'm so out of practice. Now, just before we go for the final hurrah, we're gonna get some thread lock on the case. Way too much Fred lock. Good old Fred lock. He's a good man. He's a hard worker. He has a tendency to make hard work for others though, unfortunately. There we go. We'll be able to drop our nut down on there. We just need to find a suitable nut. Me baking. That's gonna work a treat. There you go. So I've just discovered that my mics weren't recording, which is great. Okay, cool. So we're quite happily tapped in there. Bosh a little bit of thread locker on here and through. Come here. Still, at least I haven't got to strip all of this back off again in a second. The dizzy cap has a locating dowel just there, which is covered in schmutz. That's great. I'm not over the moon with this dizzy cap. It's not very good quality, which is why I wanted to keep the old one. I'm going to make these holes a little bigger. The dizzy cap will index in one place and one place only. This just makes our life a little bit easier. He's not being a swell guy right now. Yeah, it's just a lot of shit in here. Gonna line up. It's just slightly, just slightly shite that. I don't think this has been molded very well. A la new parts. So, tiny bit out of where this cap index is. Shock, panic, everybody worry. It's that much. It's the difference between adjusting the distributor very slightly. The difference is our cap will fit. Yeah, see there's a honking great mismold just there. I'm pretty sure that ain't supposed to be there anyway. Ha 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 ha. Et voila. Cap's a nice tight fit. Let's put that somewhere where it's not going to get rebusted. Is it pretty? No. Will it work? Yes. Okay, I was pretty gobsmacked actually that nothing seemed massively seized up in here. I want to take the advanced retard unit off, which is easier said than done. Is somebody flying a Sopwith Camel out there? I hope these aren't going to shear off because then we're double f***ed. Ooh, lucky. We got lucky. Again, that's all working. I might give him a little rattle can birthday. Not a euphemism. Okay, so just checking out our bob weights. All seems well there. They don't seem seized, though they are a little on the sticky side. We've got some surface rust and all that. So we need to knock out this roll pin. There we go. That should be secure enough. We're only going to be very ginger. Tippy tappy, tippy tappy. I got no truck whatsoever with smashing the dizzy housing. I want to tap the roll pin through and pull it out ideally. I don't want to get this stuck like that. There's our roll pin. See him? Good. Right, moving on. Sorry, not in a rude way. That was very rude of me. Ah! Sorry, volume warning. I don't think Gilbert Rips are feeling very well. All right, let's try. Once you've whacked that loose with a punch, you can very gently use a drill bit. If you want a nice straight shot through, get ready to catch it. Yeah, buddy. We should now be able to extract our gear. Now, this has been on here since 1980, whenever. So we might need to just very gingerly help. There we go. See that? Okay, so the dizzy gear is coming out through the center. That's fine. That is acceptable. The important thing is something's leaving. Okay, cool. Right. Now I deliberately didn't drive that all the way out because we would have had guts everywhere and no idea where anything went. Yeah, so you can see where it went through there. There's our gear. Drive gear is in exquisite condition, actually. There's a little bit of funny business. I don't think the lash is necessarily perfect. Looking at the witness marks on that gear, does it matter? No. I'm either going to say that's lash or there's somebody in the comments who's going to tell me I'm an idiot anyway. So have at it. What's wrong with it, fella? Go on. Cheers. Anyway, got this retaining ring here. Should be able to withdraw this now carefully. Don't want to mar up the internals of the dizzy. Gentle. Ooh, that was a satisfying. Yeah, we needed. No! What fell? I think a shim might have just fallen down there. That's a bit of a pisser, although, that oil seal seems really supple. Oh, am I glad I can found that. Ladies and gentlemen, so this guy goes in here. There we go. That's what fell out. Gonna withdraw this little guy here. All looks in really good condition, if a little goppy, to be honest. So, yeah, nice. All right, I think we just clean this all up, lubricate everything, and back together. I am noticing a bit of damage to this spring. The trouble is, that affects the amount of force required to get these weights out and in. But right now, we got very little say in that. We're gonna have to run it, and we'll have to see. No, because that's going to throw out immediately, look. Under basically no effort. Bugger! We'll make a mental note of that, and we might have to revisit it. Right, I've got a horrible feeling we're going to be doing more harm than good trying to get that out of there. So we're going to have to try and lubricate these in situ for a second. I'm going to clean this with brake clean. Damage to this spring aside, which I think I can see that coming back to kick us in the arse before anybody says, all right? So I've said it. But we have no choice right now. Oh, that's miles better. That is noticeably improved. We'll get some grease down inside the part where the two shafts meet. He's a little lazy on the return thanks to this spring being damaged. It are what it are. We will see where that gets us, all right? Major problems, we'll sort it, all right? Don't worry. That's definitely not locked up anymore. So that's good. I'm gonna leave all that spray grease there. I'm going to grease the spindle. We'll give that a wipe down first, Kyle, maybe? Instead of just putting a filthy spindle back in the distributor body. Right, before we go any further, let's halfway pretty this up. It's gross. Again, just gonna knock the really crappy stuff off. Oh, that's time for a time lapse. I'll tell you what, I couldn't resist, and I'm glad I did. That looks so much better. It's not perfect, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's a natty old distributor on a natty old O series engine on a natty old Austin Ambassador that needs a lot more than a pretty distributor. But hey, let's show the boys some love. Look at that, I'm quite pleased with that. You might not be, but I am. Okay, gonna give that a few to dry. I need a wee. So I'm gonna go and do that. Oh, hi, I didn't see you there. What's that? This old thing? Don't worry about it. If you like one, you can buy them from Shopify. If you like Talvin or Austin Allegros in general, we have an Allegro sauce sticker. Lettuce, I made way too many of these things, fella. I probably should have just made one for you and one for me. Stuck with them now. If you're enjoying Project Albert, or you just like rundown wrecks and bringing them back and not giving up on them, you can also show your support by buying an Albert sticker. They're on screen here somewhere if you've done your job again, Kyle. We also have the Ready Salted Crisps of stickers, which is SkyRocket Automotive with this is my logo. I'm able to use it on my hoodie, which is redundant on this one, but it's handy for the future. I'm really trying here, guys. I've never done this before. So if you're interested in some stickers, have a look on Shopify on the link below. This is the beginning of an expanded inventory of stickers. I have some designs underway. I don't want to go mental right off the bat, obviously, because I'll run out of money. But once we're underway with the stickers, there will be t-shirts and hoodies and hats and fridge magnets. Maybe biscuits, SkyRocket biscuits. I think that'd work on a nice biscuit size. Who knows? Let's find out together. So you can find them on the link below, and that's enough advertising. I can't suffer any more of that. So bye. So we have this guy who's had a chance to sit and think. Yeah, that's way better. I'm actually not as concerned now I've walked away and come back as I was about the bob weight spring, so that's happy. Gloves, Kyle, for Christ's sake. I had a bit of a sort out. I say a bit of a sort out. I got rid of the parts washer so I could actually use this bench. Night and day change. I'm going to take the initiative here and I'm going to go for assembly lube on this when I can find it. How have I lost that? Come on, man. I'm going to need that for the camshaft. All right, very funny, you guys. Where did you put my assembly lubricant? It's not funny. I'm getting a little low on that. I hope we got enough for the next step. I'm using assembly lube because it's really sticky, so I know for a fact it's going to stay there. We're not going to graunch anything up on the Distributor. I don't know if any of you have clocked this or thought of it, but I have, which is nice. It's nice to beat you guys to it for a change in the comments. With our camshaft, obviously we need to make hyper sure we had ourselves a sticky valve. That's bad news. We don't want a sticky valve, particularly when we sling the key over. Obviously the whole reason that you wind an engine over by hand is if the cam belt snaps, you don't mash all the valves. What we don't want to do is to have that valve stick again while we're rolling the engine over. And if we're going to take that attitude about it, we may as well have just wound him over on the key right from the get-go and minced up the engine. So we cannot afford right now to whistle the cam belt on this and just ride the key. Little bit of back and forth. We're going to assemble this with assembly lube and all the rest of it. We're going to obviously have the camshaft in. We're going to bar over our camshaft on that hex there, and then we're going to take the cam cover back off, take the camshaft out, and make sure that valve isn't stuck again. If the valve's not stuck again, having been slowly turned around, that's where it's going to be most likely to, it's going to have the time to come down and when the piston hits it. If that's all good, we're all good. At that point then, we should be able to spin the engine over. Need our gear. He looks good. Insert our gear, line the holes up for the roll pin. In we go. Drop the roll pin. In we go. He's actually already meshed, believe it or not, which is handy. Ginger carefuling. Yep. This is when we get our flat face punch involved. Very good. So hopefully now, yep, free as a breeze. Free as a breeze. There's no slop in that aspect of it. I don't like how up that is. Oh, one of my lights just started working. Yes, look at that. Welcome back to the party. I've been having trouble with the lights in here since the day I moved in, so kind of nice to actually have lights. Holy shit, that makes a difference. I was quoted like £600–700 to put a set of lights in here, and I don't really feel it's my responsibility, so I'm not going to. Pulley is still gopping. I was going to take this home and pretty it up on my lathe. I didn't do that. I will clean this up though, obviously. Our points are opening quite freely. I've no interest in buggering about with this gap. I've no interest in buggering about with this at all, quite frankly. I vote we just put this in as it is. Obviously we've got the revolving plates. Right, now so one of my only concerns is the stiffness of this. So what we'll do, we'll just get some spray grease in there. Can always come back and redo this stuff, guys. It's not game over. You're never going to get a chance to do this again. There we go. Sometimes that's all it needs. Look at that. Our arm there needs to correspond to this pin. See how that's the only fella that protrudes? Focus! It goes in through these drillings here. And this is going to be a bit of a piggy bitch, unfortunately. Feed that through yar. We're on the way. I know it looks bad, but I cannot wait. Idols. Check out Idols if you haven't already. I'm sure most of you have. All right. I believe he is locked. Let me go and get one of my fancy new torches and we can find out. I'm not convinced, I'll be honest with you. Excuse me, I need to get by you. Excuse me. That's a metaphor for my entire life. If I was just a bit skinnier. Well, I believe the peg is engaged. Newspapers when the lead actor in Shaun of the Dead was getting married. I don't know, guys. Come on, work with me here. Okay, connect on him. Gimme. Let's check. Make sure everybody's out of the way. Don't want anything binding up. And now to just find the screws. Make sure the condenser is in the right spot. I do believe that that's us. Dizzy mounting plates in place. Look at that. Look at the points opening. Again, we haven't dicked with anything. We haven't messed around with our points gap, so everything's as it was when the car was parked, which is ideal. We want that right now. So now, batter crimp connector on here. There's a little boot goes on somewhere. I'm going to hang fire on this connector till we get out to Albert because I want to make sure the connector I fit is a nice secure fit. Now, before we go any further, this gets missed all the friggin' time. This little foam pad in here, felt pad, lubricates this and stops our block wearing out our points. This needs lubricating. We need a half decent oil, let it leach into the foam pad like that. Just leave it, let it soak in. People always miss this step and they can't work out where their points only last 20 minutes. You won't hurt anything, just get oil on there. Lean the excess in towards the cams. Go for it. All right, I'm gonna call that done. We fixed the problem. Should we see how spanky it looks with the new Dizzy cap? Yeah, go on then. Oh no! Lettuce. Shit. I was supposed to mark the Dizzy cap before I sent the broken Dizzy cap off to the winner, which happened to be lettuce. Oh, we can figure it out. Christ, Kyle. Oofed. That's a nice fit. Now we're talking. Oh, quite pleased with that. Just a nice bog standard looking distributor. Didn't want to do anything fancy. We've got our nuts to do up the Dizzy cap with. Just that connector there. So far, how much are we out? The Dizzy cap cost, I think, £8. It's the only one I could find for an O series engine on short notice. A little bit of oil, some spray grease. So yeah, we're free currently, other than the Dizzy cap, which I broke. Can't be helped, unfortunately. Bit of a pisser, there we go. Right, I can't quite believe I'm saying this, but we're onto the cam cover. Once we're onto the cam cover, we're gonna put the engine back together. I'm really excited. I've held off this step for quite a while because I want to take my time and enjoy myself, and I'm glad I did because I'm buzzing right now, which is great. When you do this for a job, it's nice to every now and again get back to why you do it, you know? Cool, very cool. All right, shouldn't be too much hassle here. Just batter this up. I'm not overly worried about oil leaks again. We're going to be pulling the engine back apart. So we do have problem, and that is this gasket. If you remember, this was caked in sealant, which there's still some on there, annoyingly. There can be no sealant on this cover, on the end of the cam cover, because that actually sets the end float of the camshaft. The biggest pisser of all, that's the one that's missing. So I need to go look in now and find out what size gasket paper is required. It looks fairly thin. I do believe I have some of this. So we need to make the correct size gasket. And we're there. So let's get this bloody thing cleaned up and then we'll be underway. Oh, before I forget, I do offer channel memberships. I have a Patreon now. I also have a Discord that for some strange reason, nobody seems to be able to find, but there are also plenty of people on it. So anybody in the Discord that wants to help me out with that, please do reach out because I am absolutely useless. I had to ask Logan what Discord was. Christ. Yeah, we're building a nice little community here and I'm very glad that you're a part of it. Come and hang out. I'm on there all the time. I'm addicted to it. It's like MSN Messenger now. Takes me back to my youth. Right, time lapse. That has given me an idea though. Wouldn't this look the bollocks against the new distributor if the bulk of this was satin black and then these fins were silver and the protrusion for the distributor was silver? We're having fun. We're having fun. I vote we go for it. Let's see. If it looks crap, we can just get rid of it again. Let's go for it. Ready? It's not perfect. I'm not even going to pretend I've done a great job of that. But I don't care. You know when you've got a friend who's going through it and there's not really a lot you can do for them right now, so you buy them their favourite chocolate bar or a pint. That's what we're doing. Just give the guy a little bit of confidence. I think that's going to look great in the engine bay, and then we can take it further. I'm going to obviously come along here properly with a file and flatten all these rough castings out, and then we'll polish the living daylights out of this, and I think actually the finished product's going to look the nuts. But you couple that, here's my thinking. What do you reckon? I'm pretty pleased, that's quite snazzy. So can you tell that I'm stalling because I'm now absolutely shitting myself that we've got to put the camshaft in? All right, nothing for it. Let's make this gasket. Let's go. Reference material. Oh, Logan was kind enough to buy me a Haynes manual. And we got an auto books. Hey, it's cold as a witch's tit in here today. Do you know that? It snowed day before yesterday. The place just hasn't recovered. A lot of air. Ooh, low battery. I better get a move on. The engine. Oh, look. That's where we could be. With a little work. Anyway, tappet clearance is cylinder head. Servicing the camshaft and drive belt. Camshaft setting tool for tappet adjustment. Don't have one of them. Okay. Right. Camshaft bearing cover embodies the upper half of the camshaft. Okay. Microphone died. Running the new mics. Turns out you can't attenuate the volume, you can only turn it up. So I got everything crossed. This is going to work. Right. Anyway, before I was so rudely interrupted, cold weather's just kicking the arse of these things. Okay, I found the camshaft end float. So, the end cover controls the camshaft end movement in conjunction with a shoulder on the end of the camshaft. To measure the camshaft end float, remove the timing belt cover and mount a dial indicator against the edge of the camshaft gear. Move the camshaft endways. If the total movement... Oh. If the total movement exceeds 3 to 7 thou, which is 0.07 to 0.18 of a millimetre, the end plate and gasket must be renewed. Well, we haven't got one. All right, so surely there's a spec. Surely there's a spec on the gasket. Crazy not to. Piss. Actual piss. All right, well, I'll be back. I'm convinced I haven't got a gasket. Okay, here's a load of gaskets for an O series engine. Oh, we got valve stem seals as well. Might be worth a shout. We don't know if he smokes or not yet. This stuff looks to be the stuff that we need those carb flange gaskets. As we know, originally, that end plate was absolutely caked in sealant. Pending us being able to find one of those end plates with a matching gasket. What a pisser. I'm going to find the thinnest gasket paper I can, because that clearance is tiny. 3 thou to 7 thou is not much. Calculating. We're going to go down thickness as thin as we can get it without puking oil everywhere, and we'll check the end float. I've got everything crossed that whichever imbecile ran that engine with sealant on that end cover may have saved our end cover. So we'll go too small. We'll get too tight is excellent, because we can always go bigger with the gasket. The gasket behaves like a shim. So that's what we're going to do. Thin as we can get it, check our end float. If our end float's good, happy days. If it's too tight, we can go for a bigger gasket. If it's too loose, we're pretty much shit out of luck at this point until I can find another cover. So come with me back into the unit and we will... I promise you, you're going to see Albert soon, all right? I was expecting to just whiffle out there and be like, hello, fella, here you go. Chugga-vroom. Because I'm horribly optimistic. That's me. The embodiment of optimism. Right. I've been keeping this safe. I'm not seeing a massive amount of scoring. There is the tiniest little bit. We're going to be running the thinnest gasket we possibly can initially. I want to make sure this thing's flat, because the problem we've got, when you run a thin gasket, you need your surfaces to be basically perfect. Let me go and get some gasket paper and we'll have a look. Right, thankfully I appear to have some gasket paper the exact same thickness as that stuff out there. So this is all getting a bit hectic, isn't it? Considering we're just... Can you imagine we start it after all this pissing around and it's got galloping rod knock? I can. That's exactly how my life normally goes. Right. So this process is an approximation of a process called lapping. We're not. We're just trying to flatten this out as best we can. So we've got the flattest surface in the workshop, which is this piece of metal. Right, we're just aiming for oil tight, all right? We're not lapping in a surface that we're going to be using for cold welding. Okay, we want to thin that out a little bit. Tell you what though, it's encouraging that we've got suction. So yeah, a figure of 8 pattern, like that. See the schmutz we're already building up? Okay. Right, this is gearbox oil and therefore it absolutely stinks, but it does a good job. Medium pressure. I just want to give this thing the best chance we can, all right? I probably could stand to go for a heavier grip, but I don't want to over-egg this. I actually do this for intake ports on twin-port Volkswagen engines. It's a great way to get rid of air leaks. Oh my God, man. I hate the smell of this stuff. It smells like onions, gearbox oil. I can already see that this is worth doing. Look how nice and shiny this is compared to this round here. Right, so I'm going to carry on lapping this in until we know for a fact this is lovely and flat, and then we know our gasket's got a best possible chance. A heavy oil with brake clean, because you can dial in the viscosity of the oil you're using then. Turn it round and same again. Just keep going. Man alive, this stuff reeks. This stuff reeks. Yeah, this bottom piece is lovely. It's lovely and flat now. We've got a bit of funny business going on here. Nowhere near as much scuffing as I was expecting to see, so I think we may be in with a chance of reusing this. Look at all the crap that's come off of it already. Yep, it's starting to lap in. Oh, I don't think I'll be having any Burger Van burgers for a while. I'm starting to suspect we're running out of abrasive on that side of the paper, so let's go this side. Ah yeah, much more cut on that side, look. Whew! It's a good workout. I'm not even pressing particularly hard, it's just knackering. I'm content that that is as flat as it possibly needs to be. I don't think we need to go any more apeshit than that. Right, now to just put this horror mix of disgusting chemicals somewhere where I don't have to smell it for the next 2 hours. Okay, let's make a gasket. So, while this flexoid's lovely and thin, and we know we've lapped as much as we can out of this, I am a little concerned that this flexoid is not going to seal, but we don't want to whack the tolerances out too far. This stuff, not a plug, I just happen to use this Draper stuff. I use this for rebuilding K-jet metering heads when the clearance in the metal diaphragm between the two halves of the body is nil. This is an anaerobic sealant, so it will only cure when there is no oxygen. I'm going to put the thinnest bead on here. We're going to press this hard against the gasket paper. That'll give us an outline and something to cut out. And also, the gasket paper that's left is going to have the finest coat of this hydraulic sealer on it, which is fuel resistant and oil resistant. And again, anaerobic. That's the important bit. We're not splotching RTV everywhere. This stuff will go down to the finest of films. I'm going to run some off on this bit of paper over here because it will try and skid on us. I've got a piece of flexoid under this too to allow us to press it down hard. We need to be one and done with this. It can't move. While we're here, just on the off chance that we have aggro, we're going to get something that doesn't immediately fail on me. Going to go out with Sharpie. We'll let him sit and think for a second. and then we need to lift straight up. Ha! Still got it. Not overly worried about this piece here. Him, 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 and him need punching out. And then the diameter of this is important. This isn't heavy at all. Okay, that looks pretty equidistant. And there's our gasket. I need a knife, mate. Right, this is easily the biggest bitch of this entire process, is cutting large round holes. I need some bigger gasket punches, but they don't really tend to do them in the size I need. So this is a lot easier to cut than the 1mm, I can tell you that. I tend to find rotating the actual gasket paper helps. All right, not terrible. And then a straight shot up there. I'm sorry for damaging your desk, Cara. Looking pretty good so far. We'll punch these out before we cut the outer perimeter because we need the paper as strength. You'll never struggle to find the gasket again if you figure out how to make them. This is like trying to cut bog roll. It really is. That bit there isn't my prettiest work, but it's the thought that counts. I think Albert's going to be pleased to see it. There we are. 1 times Gareth Kett. And there's no reason why we can't just leave this stuck to this now. Okay, I'm going to level with you. I've done way prettier gaskets than that in the past, but I think that's going to do our job for us. Nice. Where do we go from here, man? I'm going to come back tomorrow. It's the weekend. I've got a lot of work on next week. Bit of me time needed. So, I'm going to come back tomorrow. Dare I say it? I seriously think this car might start tomorrow. Very good. I showed up the next day so excited to potentially hear that O-Series roar for the first time in 25 years. I genuinely couldn't wait. But a few things had happened along the way in the interim, and yeah, they really needed addressing before we went a step further. I don't want to leave you guys hanging without seeing Albert for too long, so I'm going to show you just the first few minutes of what happened that day, and then I'll have to see you on the next video, because otherwise this is going to end up being 2 hours long. Thank you so much for watching, and I really do hope you stick around to see what happens next, because it gets eventful. That's so chilly. It's manageable. I really don't fancy skinning my knuckles today. I've been waiting for this day for a little while, old boy. Well, getting this off's going to be interesting. Okay. Sure, there can't possibly be a problem with taking the cover off when it's this frozen, eh? Is there any give in this cover at all, or has it shrunk to the car? Okay. Oh my god, it's actually shrunk to the front of the car. Hello, Albert. I've missed you, mate. I'm actually having to peel the cover off the paint. Yeah, you just keep yucking it up, Sonny Jim. You've got no idea what's under that cover. Great. Oh no, peeled some of the clear coat off. Now it's ruined. Joking aside, there are actually pieces of the car coming off with the cover. You poor bugger. That's why I want to get you inside. Jesus Christ, Albert. Help a guy out, mate. Alright, that's looking more like it. I've got to be careful because obviously I've got fasteners and stuff under here. What happened there? Oh. Poor guy. Bollocks. This cover hasn't kept any water out at all.